All right, Tommy. I don't know if you've seen the unlimited model before. So this is the model that I run everything through. I was speaking to you a little bit about it the other night, about how every great company needs really good attraction system. So this is how you get your people into your world, clients and team. A retention and conversion mechanism. So we call that retention because conversion essentially leads to retention. So if we want to retain people in our world, the sales process leads to retention, if that makes sense.
Okay, so if they buy something, then they'll stay as part of the...
Yeah, it's our mechanism to like retaining them in our world. Everybody needs a great retention system. So that could be sales, that could be, leadership. There's lots of things in there for people inside and outside of the company, so our team and clients. And the same with delivery. We need a really good delivery mechanism. So this is where the product sits. So your sleep product or products, whatever you create, will live in here. And then we look at the model. What does it look like? The modules, all sorts of stuff in that. So that's kind of the model that we run. So, and you'll see inside, that's the big idea is all of that stuff will lead you to what we call an unlimited life.
Okay.
So if you can attract and deliver to people, you're going to create freedom. If you can attract and retain people, you're going to make money.
Yeah.
And if you can retain people and keep delivering to them, you're going to create massive impact.
Can we just break that down into more examples, just so I get that freedom, money, impact down and more apply those combos?
Yeah. So for what we decided is that and this is subjective as well, right? This is just our opinion on what creates an unlimited life. For us, we need money. So for anything to work, you need money. We had that conversation.
Yeah.
But money with freedom is even better. And then money, freedom, and impact that your work brings to the world. For me, that's like the 3 tiers to an unlimited life.
Yeah, the trifecta.
It's because, what, if we just look at like in here, for example, let's come out from these lines. How do you feel without freedom? What's the opposite of freedom for you?
Well, feeling trapped.
Yeah, trapped, right?
Not having free will. Having to do things instead of choosing to do them,
And no choice. Yeah. So that's why for us it's so important, and that's what a really well-built business can do for you. And it's at the core, these 3 things are at the core of all of our decisions.
Yeah.
These are like the big mechanisms to get this stuff done, which lead you to the unlimited life. And I can't remember who, Simon Sinek first spoke about it, like the golden circle. I don't know if you've seen that, where companies work from the inside out, not the outside in.
Okay.
And this is a kind of way of doing that. Is like we work from the inside out. We want an unlimited life. How are we going to do that? And then what does that look like?
Okay.
With it. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It's kind of cool. So this is just a model that we use. And so, imagine if you were bringing no impact with your work.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It's pants. Yeah, that's the most important thing for you.
Yeah.
That's where my
and I know that resonates with you. So what does life feel like if you don't bring impact?
A waste of time.
Yeah, waste of time, right? So you want to spend your time well. You want to do things in life that feel like they're worth it, and only you can do that. And then, but you need people, and you need people in your world, and you need something to give them to create that impact. So that's why impact lives in between those 2.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if we don't have freedom, we feel trapped, no free will and no choice. If we don't bring impact with the work that we do, it feels like a waste of time. And eventually it will get to us. You can do things with not caring about the impact, but this leads us really nicely onto the money segment. it's not just about how much money you make, it's about how you make your money.
Yeah.
You know, for me, that's really important. How I make my money is also equally important.
Yeah.
So what does life feel like with no money? Like, what's the opposite of no money?
Scraping by. Like, I feel like it takes away from the other two quite significantly. So
Yeah.
you have to make decisions which take away your freedom. You have to make decisions which reduce the amount of impact you can make. So yeah, it dilates your capabilities. It increases your stress. Takes up brain space thinking about that instead of thinking about impact and mission.
Amazing. So I think this will make a lot more sense now about the conversation we had the other day about money. Is like, without the money, and this is one of the biggest, for me, one of the biggest personal development journeys I ever went on was to rewire my money story into a positive relationship with it. Instead of a negative one, because again, coming from a working class English area and family, oftentimes there's negativity tied to money. But we have to remember that a lot of people's money story does come out of just like a 9-to-5 working class world, right? In an entrepreneurial world, like, we're out here trying to solve problems. That's kind of one of the fundamental differences between an entrepreneur and not. Is we're focusing on solving real world problems. And to get that done, to deliver the impact and have the freedom that we want from that, is going to take some money to get it done.
So it's money for a different reason than what we would stereotypically link it to. And when we think of money growing up, it's people having flashy cars and going on fancy holidays. So there's a lot of envy that goes behind that because people are being quite selfish with it. But we're not exposed to that entrepreneurialism in the UK. I don't know whether it's the same in other countries as well, but we're not bred to see money as impact, money as selflessness. Which I suppose is where I have my first stick with, like, I don't want it to be all about money, I want it to be all about impact. And what still does worry me a little bit with the money side is I don't want people thinking that I am ungenuine with what I'm saying about the impact stuff because there is a financial model around the business. Because I am making money from it. I know people think, he's just saying those things and preaching about them things and talking about his emotions like that because he wants to make money.
Okay. Yeah. Look, I don't know if you can ever escape that fully. And my question there would be, just be careful, or what I would advise is, like, just be careful you don't let that get in the way of you bringing impact. Because that could slow you down. You could be like, maybe I'm not going to go as big as I could because I'm just worried about what people are going to say. People are always going to say something regardless. They judge you regardless. And instead of kind of making it about you, what I've done with this in my life is flipped it to compassion and look at it compassionately and show me what it reveals about them. Because then I can have love and compassion for them. And step into leadership even further. So if someone thinks that about me, he's only saying those things because he wants to make money. It's got nothing to do with me because they don't know where my decisions have come from. But what it reveals to me is how they see the world. And then I can come back to love and compassion again and be like, they just don't see the world the same way I do, and that's okay.
And would you look to change that in any way, or that just helps you to feel better about the decision to make the money?
Yeah, because there's a quick exercise you can do. You just ask it because it's a story that we're telling, right? Around money, if we think, I don't want people to think this, I'm disingenuine and I'm doing this just to get money. That's a story that we're telling about the scenario, and we have to quickly ask ourselves, is it true?
Right.
Is it true? No, it's not true. Okay. So then how helpful is it to hold on to that story? It's not that helpful. So then, okay, if it's not true and it's not helpful, you can release yourself of that story because it's not true and it's not helpful. So then it just comes down to, it's someone else's opinion. That's all. We're dealing with opinion, and opinion reveals someone's view of the world. And then immediately I can flip it back to love and compassion of again, you just don't see the world the way that I do. And that's okay. I'm not going to let that stop me from bringing the impact to the world that I know I can and that I want to.
Brilliant. No, that makes sense. So that would calm my own worries on it. The other question then, I suppose, is, let's say 10% of people look at my business model as me not being genuine and therefore won't support my mission. Is there anything that you think I could do to emphasize the fact that I am impact oriented and that I'm using that money for good to reduce that 10% so that I have more people that are driving me towards my mission?
Yeah. I think you could just talk about it.
Sound?
Yeah. If it's something that you really, really care about in your heart, is talk about that. Talk about how you are using the money from the company and talk about all the things that you are doing.
Yeah.
And how impact and mission driven you are.
Cool.
And it's something that we do in the onboarding, our coaching world. We actually go through a purpose, mission, value statement.
Yeah.
So I'm going to write this one down as our first kind of piece. Is PMV, which is our purpose, our mission, and our values. So we need to give the company a purpose. We'll dig into this in a minute because this will untangle where a lot of things go. But we have to give the company a purpose and ourselves. Like, we need to understand why we're in it as well.
Yeah.
Then the company needs a mission. So what's the mission for the company over the next 3 to 5 years or 1 to 3 years? You can make the timeline, you can make the time horizon as big or as small as you want to. And then what are the values that we live by as a company? What are the things that we stand for? What are the things that we don't stand for? Mm-hmm. And all of your decisions go through these 3 things. Does it link to the purpose of the company? Does it add to the mission? And when I put it through the values, does it check out? And that's a surefire way to make sure that you never, ever out of alignment.
Okay, so just make sure any action made goes through that.
Yeah.
Test procedure.
Yeah, and that's the purpose of the company, and that keeps you on point, it keeps you on track, and it keeps you running out of virtue and out of impact, right? So this is essentially describing like what the virtue of the company is. Because there's 2 things we can think about, like what's the virtue and what's the passion. Most people confuse the 2. So the passion projects are going to change, right? Like how you get your impact to people will keep changing just because everything changes, right? Yeah. Right now you might be, next year you might be doing stage shows. Yeah. And then the year after, it might completely change. Yeah. It might just be all in-house corporate gigs. Yeah. But that's the passion project. But the virtue that sits underneath the whole company remains forever. Yeah. Because it's the whole point of the company. So once everything is put through that filter, you can never go wrong. And no one can what can anyone ever say to you? Yeah. They can't. And then you're back to a place of confidence and comfort again, because all it's doing is revealing how they see the world. Yeah. And then we're back to love and compassion again. It's like, oh, that's okay. Yeah. I'm going to make anything mean anything about me because I have a clearly defined purpose, mission, and value set for this company, which helps me to live an unlimited life of money, freedom, and impact. That's what I'm going to bring to the world, and here's how I'm going to do it. Yeah.
So you have such clarity that whenever you have those thoughts.
And that's why I don't care in my content. Like, I don't care what people say, because they can, it's that thing, never assume, right? Never assume intent. People are, for anyone who's got anything to say without knowing you clearly and without seeing this, they're just assuming intent. They're assuming that they know where your stuff is coming from, based on the cognitive bias that they have around their stories about people like you who do things like that, and people like you who are trying to make a living in the world and make money and bring impact at the same time. Yeah. So it's a big unraveling of story and what we're making it mean. Yeah, it's huge. That's why I love business. That's why I love the entrepreneurial journey. It's the biggest personal development journey you'd ever go on. And like we were speaking the other day, it's the domino effect. You'll flick one and it's like a spiral effect. You'll unlock like 20. Because it's like, oh, if that one's linked to that one, and 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 that one. Like for me, honestly, like money story is some of the biggest personal development you can ever do.
Okay.
Because it's so deep rooted. Yeah. So deep. Like our stories of money, especially UK, are thousands of years old.
Yeah.
Like the generation on generation on generation on generation of money trauma, like all passed down.
Interesting. And do you think it's different in other countries? Is the UK more so like that? I think there are differencing classes in the UK.
Yep. I think it's very different. So I've lived in Australia for the last 14 years.
Yeah.
I left in 2011. And they don't have the class divide.
Yeah.
So what you'll find is that there's this kind of saying and this attitude in Australia, like the fair go attitude. So like they'll give everybody a go.
Brilliant.
And that's like an underlying attitude in that world. And that's where you'll find people from everyday life can find themselves in great positions because there's not a class divide or people like you don't do things like that.
Okay.
There is still that, but it's nowhere near as prominent as UK.
So do you reckon that like the psychology behind it is the working class in the UK have less opportunity and therefore there is more envy towards people who are having the opportunities, and that puts them on the defense mechanism for anyone who is making the money?
Yes and no. The opportunity thing's interesting because I think in this modern day, you can create your opportunity. You don't need a class divide or system or someone to tell you that you can do that. Because I'm a living example of that. You know, I come from the ass end of Plymouth in the Southwest. Nobody really knows where the hell it is, wherever I go in the world. And, you know, I've lived an incredible life. Incredible life. All because I chose to create my reality and not let a class divide do it for me. But that takes a hell of a lot of courage and a hell of a lot of bravery and a hell of a lot of humility just to go, I don't have all the answers and my whole life is going to be devoted to finding them, like the quest of finding the answers, essentially. So I do agree that some people just aren't in a financial position for opportunity and a class situation. They might not be allowed into certain schools or to certain things, but I also do believe that that's all changed in the last 5 to 10 years, like with the internet and now, especially with AI, like you can create your opportunities now. And I do think there's a mentality and there's a story shift again that we need to maybe shift.
I was going to say, so I'm thinking of cultural change like we spoke about the other night, and whether actually the UK will go through cultural change as opportunities increase for people from every background. And therefore money might become something that is looked more favorably upon in other people's hands.
So there's a couple of things baked in there. I think this waiting for opportunity to be available to us that's gonna destroy people. We need to look at it for we create the opportunity. We can't wait for it to come to us. Government's not going to save you. School's not going to save you. Parents aren't going to save you. It's like now everybody has the opportunity to create their opportunity, whereas just waiting for it to come to you and waiting for the government to all of a sudden start giving more funding and stuff to create more opportunity for people, just don't think it's never going to work. It's just never going to work. I don't think history's proved that it ever works. So in this modern day, we need to change the story of like, it's probably not the best idea to keep waiting for it. It's probably a better idea because you got to spend your energy one way. Time's going to pass either way, right? What do you want to do? Spend your time waiting for opportunity or spend your time creating opportunity? It's up to you. Time's going to pass anyway. We're all going to die eventually. It's completely up to you, you know, and no one's stopping you either. That's one of the things that I can't get my head around with the UK is like, you do realize, all right, certain circumstances might not be great, but you do still live in one of the most privileged countries in the world. The majority of the country is white. It's a Western world country. It's got loads of money in it. Like it's not a poor country by any means. All right, the average Joe might not have money, but okay, or much money. But then again, is that just a story they tell themselves? And you have choice. You still have choice. Like we're in Bali right now. I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't really have a choice of what they do. There's a lineage of like, you're just the guy that works in the rice field and that's what you do.
It puts things into perspective, right?
And it was, I was reading a story about, I think it was Thailand. It was only about 15 years ago. Up until about 15 years ago, you didn't have a choice in what you did in life. Like it was just lineage of like, we're this family, we do this. And that's, if you're in that family, that's just what you do. You don't have a choice to do. And so that's what I think we need to celebrate a little bit more and have a bit more gratitude around is like, okay, guys, like, you know, just blaming the government and blaming circumstance and blah, there's no opportunity, blah, blah. That's what we call a victim of circumstance. it's a really disempowering way to live life. You know, what people are saying is, I can only be successful and happy and have money and be joyful if everything around me is perfect.
Yeah.
Terrible way to live. Terrible way to live. Because it's fragile at best, because when is anything ever going to be perfect? And even if it is, you might be waiting forever. You might be waiting forever for the UK to change their ways.
No,
so
certainly. I mean, there'll always be a problem to highlight and to make an excuse around. I think, and especially now with the information age that we live in, like, as long as someone could afford to have access to the internet, they could afford to basically do whatever they want, whether they want to, you know, fill their bucket of knowledge, of skill, they can do that all on a laptop or even a phone. So yeah, there's opportunity for people to just do whatever they want. What do you think the future will look like from that perspective, with people just being able to create things from scratch, whatever their background?
Well, it's a complete dynamic shift, isn't it? It's a complete dynamic shift. If we're willing to step into it, it's a complete shift. And that's exciting to me. That's very exciting because, again, you know, think of the UK once one of the most dominant, you know, economic areas of the world, could be that again. If we all just woke up for a second and had a bit of gratitude for the God-given choice that we have. It's our great privilege to still have choice, you know. Majority white Western world, like, pretty fortunate. You know, it's a reasonably beautiful country at times. Like, all right, the weather's crap a lot of the time, but it doesn't matter. Like, if you're going to let that be the reason you don't get on in life, you got bigger fish to fry, you know? So I think if everybody wakes up a little bit and stops blaming circumstance and starts taking responsibility, that country could soar again.
I've been thinking about that so much.
Dude, it could soar, but the thing is, we're going to have a radical responsibility thing happen. People are going to have to go, I'm not, and not out of rejection energy, not out of like, I'm not relying on the government because I reject government. It's like, no, I'm not relying on government because it's just not a good idea. And it's not a reliable idea.
Well, it's really,
They can exist, they can do their thing, they can look after the country, but me as a smart, intelligent, aware adult, and that's another thing that I would like people to do, is to graduate themselves into adulthood. Take some fucking responsibility and realize, oh, I can create my future. I don't have to wait for these dingbats, because history has shown that it doesn't really work that way. And it's not a good way to live.
And the government might help at points across the way, right? But you can be 100% certain if you build yourself into something that is 100% reliable and powerful and knowledgeable and skillful. Whether that might take a year or 10 years to do that, that is a lot more reliable than relying on the government that maybe now and again will help you in the ways that you need help.
So we're back to the unlimited model again. It's like so the government, they don't care. I mean, they kind of care about entrepreneurship, but they're more designed to keep the working class thing alive, right? Like 9 to 5. If you ask most people who complain about government, and mostly 9 to 5ers, that's what they are. You know, because everyone else isn't worried, because they're creating their own thing, right? They're like, well, I don't rely on that. As long as they keep paying the taxes, who cares? Like, I don't really care what they do, you know, because I create my reality. So 9 to 5ers, they are it's just restriction all the way around. It's restriction all the way around. They're restricted on how much money they can make. They're restricted on how much freedom they have, and they're restricted on how much and the type of impact they can bring. They're restricted on how they get clients. They're restricted on how they retain them, and they're also restricted on how they deliver. You're basically being told how to live your life with no outcomes guaranteed. And that's what people are sick of. But they forget that this other thing on the other side called entrepreneurship exists. So now to my next part of the story, which we just spoke about opportunity. Then there's like this age-old oppressed and oppressor relationship. Whereas, I can't remember who said it, was it Nietzsche or one of those guys were talking about the oppressed and the oppressor, right? And there's this story that the working class are the oppressed. Okay, you guys been pushed down, you stay down there. Anyone who creeps above that line, entrepreneurship, you know, anyone of a higher up class or government, anyone like that is an oppressor. Because they control the working people, right?
Okay. Would you say so? Like in my head, I was thinking, right, the oppressor's the government, the oppressed are the working class, and maybe the entrepreneurs and stuff are just unoppressed.
No.
So
Entrepreneurs, so I confirmed this belief and thought, because I used to speak to my brother about this. He studied psychology and philosophy at school, at uni, and he was teaching me about the oppressed and oppressor relationship. And he put me in that column, in the oppressor column. He said, not because I believe you're an oppressor. He was like, but if you go by the definition, he was like, you are now technically an oppressor because you have a company. You're an entrepreneurial minded person who has a limited liability company. And you now bring people into that, and you are essentially, and again, it's whether you believe in a hierarchical system, you're essentially in control of a certain layer of people. Therefore, that could be seen as an oppressor,
I think
right?
Yeah.
So it's crazy. So anyone who creeps above that line, I don't believe the story's true. It's just not true. We need everybody, right? It's a coexistence, a co-collaboration. Nothing works without each other, right? We all need bosses. We all need second in charge. We all need the cleaner, and we all need the guy who's just the 9-to-5er, does the same thing his whole life. We need A players, B players, and everybody in between, right? Nothing works without it. But there is a problem in the UK of the oppressed and the oppressor relationship, and it's a very old relationship.
Yeah.
So that explains one of the reasons why people don't want to be identified with money, or they don't want to be identified as the entrepreneur, because they creep into the oppressor category.
Interesting.
And they don't want to do that because I'm here for the lads and I'm here for the people and I care about my people in my community. Cool. I like that. Brilliant. Great values, big respect, because you care about your people. But what's more caring? You know, we've got, that's the oppressor line. Okay, we've got the oppressed here, and then the oppressors here. Say the oppressed only ever, what's the oppressed only ever going to make about 50K to 100K a year? Maybe, like at best, as a 9-to-5er. Whereas once you're over here, once you get to this line, and then once you get over, world's your oyster, right? It's infinite.
Yeah.
There's millions of money, once you're a world's your oyster, right? How much impact can you do under here with 50 to 100K a year? Some.
Yeah.
But minimal, right? How much impact can you do here? Infinite.
Yeah.
If there's infinite possibility to make money, because money's infinite, then the I care about my people story, what it reveals is, okay, if you really care, what do you want to do more of? Do you just want to stay here and keep everybody trapped?
Yeah.
Or, and just do like minimal?
Yeah.
Because that reinforces a self-sabotage cycle as well. Oh, I can only do this much because it takes from my money, and then I don't have enough money, and that reinforces my shit money story. And so I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do the people, and it's because of the oppressors, and I can only do this much. And we just go round and around and around. And that's the general mindset of a UK person. It's like, oh, well, I can't do that. That costs too much. So round. But they don't realize that there's a line that they can cross over. And we can call this the oppressor line. I would call it like the responsibility line. Like if you just would take a bit of responsibility and stop being a victim of circumstance and stop expecting everybody else to make your dreams come true. Stop expecting everybody else to solve this problem.
Yeah.
And you just take a bit of responsibility.
So what do you think they need to make that leap, right? Because often people aren't in positions where they have the money to be able to fully sacrifice their job for the next step. What do you think are holding people back?
Yeah. The story that they tell themselves in their heads. They just need to meet more people like you and I.
Okay, brilliant. Okay.
We're in Bali right now. There's people with shitloads of money.
Yeah.
I know guys that make $1 million a month, right? Some of the nicest dudes on the planet.
Yeah.
The nicest, most helpful, funny people you'll ever meet, right? How many assholes have you met since you've been here?
Very, very,
very few.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Very few.
Yeah.
And there's people making this in a month.
Yeah.
Right? 50K.
Yeah.
My company does 50K plus a month.
Yeah.
A month. I would never, making that in a year would have been a dream once upon a time. We've been like, oh, that's incredible, So I think two things. They need to expose themselves to more people like that and get over their money story.
Yeah.
What it reveals to me, the terrible story that they tell themselves about money. And I'll tell you why. So again, like I asked you about the story earlier about I don't want people to think a certain way about me. Number one, the story of the oppressed and the oppressor. And the oppressor, right? Is the story that the people, these people down here tell about the entrepreneurs true? Is it 100% true?
No, sometimes it is though.
Sometimes,
So
and a small amount of time, right?
Yeah.
So what would you say? 70, 30, 60, 40 maybe?
I'm unsure. I don't have enough experience.
I don't know.
But
Let's go.
chuck something out there.
Let's go 60, 40, just to be generous to the oppressed, right? So let's say it's like 60, 40. Let's just say, right? So it's not 100% true.
Yeah.
You know, it's only like 2/3 true.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay, it's not a true story, but then secondly, how helpful is it to believe that story? Is it helpful to believe that story? No, it's not helpful.
For the oppressed or for the oppressors?
For the oppressed.
Yeah.
It's not a useful, helpful story to believe. Why is that? 2 reasons. Because it keeps them stuck in this, I can only do so much because I only have so much money and I can't afford it. And it's because of the oppressors and it's because of this and because of that. And then the cycle goes round and round and round and round. But it also shows me their choice of contribution to the world, their energetic contribution to the world. They're choosing to find everything that's wrong with the world. Mm-hmm. And what does that mean? Victim of circumstance. Yeah. They're choosing to look at we could look at this room right now. Really cool room, right? My brain's wired for what's good about this, not what's wrong about this. I spent my whole life just trying to find the good in things, right? But I'm sure if we stood here for long enough, we could start to find shit that's not right.
And you're less likely to book the route, right?
Right, exactly. But what's a better use of my time?
Oh, to be thinking.
Do I just want to be sitting here going, right, what's wrong with this? Well, this fucking room, was it? Or is it like, fucking so good to be here. Like, this is great, isn't it? Like, so that's what these people need to change.
Yeah.
And I call it the great leveler in life. The great pacifier is gratitude.
Okay.
Great pacifier is gratitude. Like, if they just were a bit more bloody grateful for the world. But it's perspective again, right? The fish doesn't know it's in water. These fuckers don't know.
Not heard that one.
But a fish doesn't know he's in water, right?
Yeah.
It's like, 2 fish swimming together. One's aware, one's not.
Yeah.
How fucking cold is the water today?
Yeah.
What's water?
Yeah.
Like, it's the same as these guys. They don't know that they're in one of the most privileged countries in the world. They just don't know.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what they don't know, right?
Okay.
That's what needs to change. And this is why I was so bullish, and we went a bit hard on your story the other night. I was so bullish and excited about your world because it takes people like me and you to show these people keep showing up.
Yeah.
And there's a line that one of my coaches, Dan Bolton, taught me. All of this is not because you want to help people. It's not because you want to help people. It's because the best thing we can ever do is inspire somebody. And the way that we do that is we embody a life which shows other people what's possible.
Fantastic.
So all of what you do is you are just embodying a life that shows everybody else what's possible.
Okay, I like that. I'm going to write that down.
Because helping people is hard. Helping people is really hard. Why? Because they have to want to be helped.
Yeah.
And sometimes helping people, like just saying, I just want to help people, it's got self-sabotage baked into it because we can't always guarantee we're going to be able to help them.
Yeah, it gets a bit frustrating.
And then it's frustration, right? And then frustration kicks in, and then we follow the frustration. Fuck, must not be working, blah, blah, all that stuff, right?
So instead of telling, showing, right?
There it is. So what do I think is going to happen? How do I think we're going to change it? It's going to take, and I don't know if it was you that asked me or someone else. No, I think it was someone else. Where does your curiosity come from? Where does my curiosity come from? Why, out of all the people that we know, are 2 lads from the UK sitting in this room right now talking about how the fuck we're going to change the world with our businesses? How did that happen? When everybody else is stuck at home in this relationship with the world.
Yeah.
What's wrong with the world energy? I don't want to take responsibility. It's the oppressor's fault.
Okay.
It's the government's fault. It's this fault. It's like, what's different about us? Now, I'm not so worried about what's different. I have my own thesis on it. But what I am most interested in is what we do with that now. So how are we going to do this? It's going to take us showing up consistently every single day, embodying a life that shows everybody else what's possible.
Okay.
And that's leadership.
I like that, mate, because I've been thinking a lot about how I think it's sad that we feel like we have to leave the UK to experience a life that we aspire to have. We're standing here in Bali because we like to be around like-minded folk who are reaching for the stars and believing in themselves and learning and experiencing and all these wonderful things. It would be wicked if people in the UK thought that they were able to experience that in the UK and were actually able to experience it.
Brilliant. So we had that conversation the other day, and that's what I'm most excited about when I go back. I've been in Bali here now on my own for about 5 weeks. I was with my business partner for 2 weeks. And then I thought, before I go back to Australia, I'm just going to really ground myself in Bali, do some discovery. And I'm so excited to take this embodiment of who I am right now back to the UK and just show. Not going to tell anyone. Not going to tell anyone what to do. I'm just going to be how I am now, but there. And slowly, one person at a time, it will catch. Yes, I'm going to have to immerse myself back in these environments because I love these environments. And just to remind myself of like,
well, this is it.
How I said I was going to be, because the environment's important, right? It's one of the fastest ways to change yourself, is to change your environment. But there's a double whammy. Yes, you've come here to be around like-minded people, but you've also come here to show others what's possible.
Okay.
You're embodying the life now. Like when they look at you now, where's Tommy at? He's in Bali. What's he doing there? Rubbing shoulders with like-minded people, building his business. He's in a great routines, All you're showing people what's possible.
Yeah.
All because of a decision and radical responsibility that you took.
Yeah. I think I think it's really important. My only conflicting view on that at the moment is I'm worried that by being in Bali and speaking about how people in the UK can experience a better life in the UK, I'm not even there. Like, that's why it's important for me to get back sort of January time. But I don't want people to think, oh, good for you, mate. Of course you're chilling. Of course you've got a nice, peaceful mind. Of course you feel energetic in the morning. You're getting out, you're going into some sunshine, you go to the beach whenever you fancy, you're drinking lovely coffee, you're not spending that much money. So it's all, I'm worried about people think, oh, all well and good, but I can't actually relate to that situation, even though you're not even speaking about the country, because there may be a bias due to your location.
Yep. And that can be a big part of your story. Is like, if you go deep enough into, like, I love Buddhist philosophy, right? Buddhist philosophy, we can't be a victim of circumstance. What that's revealing to me is those people are still victims of circumstance. What you're explaining is there's this thing, you go with you wherever you go, right? The country isn't going to change the way they think. Bali's not going to change the way they think. Why? Because if they don't work on themselves, they go with them wherever they go. America, Bali, UK, Spain, wherever, it doesn't matter. Yes, it might change them for a month, 2 months, 3 months, but 6 months to a year, if they don't change their internal story, they'll be back where they were. I guarantee it. Because it's like the money thing, right? Oh, I want more money. Why? Because it made me happier. No, it won't. It's the internal dialogue. It's conducive to happiness, of course, because it takes the stress away of not having any. But if you don't work on the fundamental stories that you tell yourself, you go with you wherever you go. And if you don't work on the stories, you'll be back in the same situation. So a big part of your message, I think, can be, guys, it's not about the country. Because you've got contrast now. You've got contrast from UK to Bali. What I've learned about being in Bali, yes, it's beautiful, but what I've learned is it's not about the country.
Yeah.
It's about here. What country have you got going on in here?
It's about the people, right?
Well, it's about the people, but it's also, first, it's about you. Yeah. First, it's about the story that you tell yourself.
Yeah, yeah. So this the individuals. Yeah. So like, Yeah, that's an interesting way to put it, because I've ended up coming here and enjoying spending the most time with British people. I love people from the UK who are like-minded to myself and who believe in themselves and who have sorted the inner world. And that has nothing to do with Bali. It's just happened to attract the people from our home country.
So, and I think you've unlocked something there.
Yeah.
You've really unlocked something. It's not about the place. Yes, the place attracts those types of people, but what's the common denominator between all of you? It's the inner world. It's the inner country. It's the inner world that you're telling yourself. Yeah. So it's not about the country. Yeah. The country didn't change you. Yeah. You already did it. Yeah. You go with you wherever you go. Yeah. Right. And so, and that dialogue will always change over your life. It'll always get stronger. Yeah. It'll always, something new will come in, a new perspective will come in. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I completely back up.
Yeah. Because, and it's a really nice perspective shifter, because then when you do go back, you're just embodying the same life. You're like, well, I'm the same dude. I go with me wherever I go. Like, I don't need to be in Bali to think that there's endless possibilities in the world. Yeah. Is it easier there?
I was in the UK for 18 months flogging the pan in. Yeah. And like, it does make it easier here because it's more affordable. So I can spend more time thinking and doing my things and building my internal assets.
So it's more conducive 100% to success and to growth and to whatever. But and what I really want to get through to people is like, but that doesn't mean it's impossible everywhere else, you know? Because if we ask ourselves a question, are there people in the UK doing it? There are. Yeah. You know, there's a coach that I know who was went through one of the programs I went through, a guy called Phil Graham in Ireland. Okay. Dude is loaded. Yeah. He lives in Northern Ireland and he's just killing it, right? He's doing it. Yeah. You know, and look at some of the people who have come from, one of the fitness dudes, Rob Lipset, for example. Yeah, he might be living in Marbella, but he's Irish. And he's killing it. Like, people are doing it. Yeah. You know? So it's not impossible.
No, definitely not. I think you need time to do it, right? And one problem at the moment in the UK is everyone's got a to-do list as long as there are. And they feel like they have to say yes to everything. They're working a 9 to 5 through the week and feeling like they need time on the weekend, as much time as possible to have active fun and enjoyment. And actually what happens is they just have zero time to think about how they could cross that line from being the oppressed to the oppressor. Yep. Right? Because they're trying to make the most of the free time that they have.
And I would even take that word oppressor out. I would just go from...
I don't like it. Can we make it sound a bit...
Well, yeah, so there's another iteration of that story. I think what this sign is really called infinite, right? Like, oh, looks like some tits now. But nice. If you go from the oppressed to free, just fucking free yourself of any story, identity, label. You know, there's a line that I love to use. Your labels will become your limits. Okay, your labels will become your limits. What I do right now in my life is I coach people, but I'm not a coach, right? Weird one. I was an award-winning barber for a long time, but I'm not a barber. I'm just a human that does shit, right? Free yourself of the stories and the labels that you give yourself. Why? Because your labels will eventually become your limits, because people still tell stories about labels. Yeah. Oh, you're just, and again, what's the story? The oppressed are telling a story about themselves. They're saying, we can't do this. People like us don't have things like that because.
And then they're not going to make the act.
Why? And then I would like to ask them, well, is it true? And can you prove to me that it's 100% true? And no one can prove that anymore because it's 2025 and those stories are dissolving every day. It's dissolving, right? Because, you know, Stephen Bartlett, for example, Stephen Bartlett, he's from my hometown, right? Killing it, right? And he was bullied. And I remember the guy from, he didn't go to my school. He went to my ex-girlfriend's school. And I remember we used to play football matches. I remember he was bullied. Look, the dude's killing it, right? So how can a guy of color who was, his family born in a completely different country, bullied from same working class town that I'm from, how can he be probably one of the richest young people in the UK right now, if not in Europe, right? Yeah. He can do it. So he's told himself a different story, and he said that once. He said there's like groups of people that need to realize at a certain point that the stories they're telling themselves just aren't useful anymore.
Yeah.
You can't keep playing the oppressed card all for your whole life. Why? Because you'll stay there, and it's just an identity.
Yeah.
It's just an identity. Have you heard of the analogy of the piss pool? Heard of the piss pool? Did I tell you about that one?
No, I might have heard it in some form at some point, but go on.
So it's a big swimming pool, and it's full of piss.
Yeah, nice.
Right? And everyone's in there.
Yeah.
Jam-packed. You can't move. Fucking everyone's in there, right?
Like the pool at Finn's, I'm imagining, mate, is full of piss.
Yeah.
Jam-packed full of people.
One of them, jam-packed full of people, and they all got their favourite bikinis on. Yeah, nice. It's cool. It's just full of piss, though, right?
Yeah, problem.
And what's piss? It's warm. It's, it's body temperature. And it's nice in here.
Yeah.
A bit smelly, but like it's all right, And then one day, here's the pool. Say this is the pool. Everybody's in here, and there's all the piss. And you're here, and you go, I'm just going to get out a second. I'm going to stand here. And then the wind comes. And you go, fucking hell. Oh, Jesus Christ. But, and all these people, they all got their hands up saying, come back in. Come back into the piss pool. It's nice and warm in here. Like, you're better in here. But what you've just done is you've just looked down and you go, it's like a fish who doesn't know he's in water. You go, holy fuck, that whole thing's full of piss.
All right, so you really...
And I'm a bit cold, but it was nice in there.
Yeah.
That's this. The oppressed is the piss pool. It's the story. It's warm down here, safe down here. If we just stay in here, we just keep telling ourselves a little story. We'll just bob along.
Yeah.
And all my friends are here.
Yeah.
But you've jumped out and you're on your own, and it's a bit chilly, and the wind's blowing, and everyone's saying, "Come back down." You have a choice right there, and the choice is: do I carry on going with the path unknown, or do I jump back in the piss pool with everybody else?
Yeah.
That what we spoke about there. The choice is this line.
Yeah.
Is the responsibility line.
Mate, I love that story. Thank you for sharing that.
Well, that sadly is the reality.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference between people like yourself and people like me. And I don't know where it comes from. I have this God-given curiosity in me and courage to go, I don't really want to get back in the piss pool.
Yeah. And it takes a period of discomfort before you dry off, right?
100%.
Because it doesn't feel cold when it's windy and you're dry.
Exactly. So then you've got to dry. And then when you're dry, then you're thinking, well, fuck, what do I do now?
Yeah, of course I'm not going to get back in the piss pool.
No, because it stinks and it's fucking piss.
Yeah.
And they don't even know they're in piss. Yeah. Like, it's that, right? There'll be a bunch of people that don't even know that this is even a thing because they're a victim of circumstance.
Wicked.
So, that's the first part.
Yeah, just I know. I was already convinced to get out of the piss pool. I'm on the side.
Yeah. That's great, man. So we've gone a bit through purpose, vision, values. We've gone a bit through like how to set up an unlimited life. We've gone through how to unlock stories in your mind of like, you got to remember as well, dude, who are the stories coming from? They're coming from people that you don't want to be like. They're coming from the past version of yourself. Yeah. And you're part of your job now as the founder of your company, the entrepreneur that you are, and the kind of impact bringer to the world. It's leadership, man. There's a level of leadership that you have to develop to stay on this path. Yeah. Because I don't know if you're into religion. I'm not overly religious, but I do enjoy the stories. Yeah. Who was the best leader ever to exist? Jesus Christ, right? And what happened to him? Fucking nailed him to a stake, right? Yeah. There's going to be discomfort when in leadership. And that is also the line that people can't cross. Why? Because they have a lot of responsibility and come back into the piss pool. Yeah. It's cold out there. Oh, I don't know where I'm going. Yeah. It's scary. Huh? Okay. But like, we used to go to war. Yeah. Yeah. Now we're afraid of fucking words, as the great English philosopher Ricky Gervais said. we used to go to war. Now we're afraid of words. That
was lovely.
True. So
it's good. I have learned how exciting it is to feel uncomfortable, though, and I think evidence brings confidence. Right. The first time I felt uncomfortable, my initial reaction was "fuck no," like discomfort means bad. Right. And the more evidence that I had of discomfort actually resulting in a positive change for both myself and whatever mission that I'm serving.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is the gateway. This is the gateway to the good stuff. And sometimes discomfort actually brings negative things and negative emotions and negative outcomes, right? But that in itself builds something in some way, shape or form. So I think I needed the evidence of the discomfort being a positive thing. And that was only something that I realized maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Brilliant. Oh, dude, 100%. And you hit on a really good point there. It's redeveloping your relationship with challenging times. You know, the struggle, the challenging times, right? I'm very careful with the language that I use, especially with myself. I don't say like it's difficult or anything like that. It's just challenging.
Nice.
And for myself, I welcome a challenge. That's how I reestablish my relationship with struggle.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, is it challenging? Yes. What? And what do I think about challenges? I welcome challenges.
Yeah.
Why? Because I trust that I'm a person that can work it out.
Yeah. Problems are puzzles.
Your problems are puzzles.
Yeah.
And here's a powerful one from Peter Crone. If it's not life-threatening, it's just ego-threatening.
Okay.
So you got to ask yourself, is what I'm worried about life-threatening right now?
Yeah.
No. That means it's threatening my ego.
Yeah.
And we're back to the stories that we tell ourselves about what's going on. It illuminates the path of personal development. It illuminates the path of what stories do I need to work on now?
Okay.
Because that's the way the world learns, right? Dr. Mark Gaffney says it all the time. If we want to change the world, we got to tell a different story. Because the world exists the way it does with the stories that we've told so far.
Interesting.
That's how we learn, right? Mm-hmm. How do we learn anything? Everything I've basically been telling you this morning is stories. The knowledge and the wisdom is wrapped up in story. That's how we do it in life. You know, what
have done forever.
Yeah. What did Buddha say? You know, the moment I speak, what was it? You know, you can never.
As if you're the quote man.
But you can never. What he means is like, you can never articulate with words really what's on your mind. You can't. It's impossible.
You need to the story, right?
Yeah, because the moment I speak, I tarnish the thought. Because you can. Like, you can't possibly explain exactly what's in your mind with words. It's impossible because something's going to get lost.
And everyone will have a different perspective of what the words mean, right?
Exactly. So that's where story comes in. We do our best. We do our best attempt at packaging up an idea to give to someone else in a little package, and it's called a story. Yeah. And it's my best attempt at trying to get to you what's on the inside of my mind. Out of all of this, there's also shit in my brain that I just can't put into words.
Yeah.
Or that bit is missed the train, it missed the boat, and it didn't come out, and it did this. So, the only thing we can ever do is tell a story. If we can tell a great story, and then if we want to change the world, we get to tell a different story.
That's it. And I think it's going to be the biggest thing that I'm going to have to focus on is the storytelling aspect. It's like, how do I get people on board to what I am trying to do? How do I make people believe in themselves and their abilities to live a better life?
Yeah.
The story about money, how do I get people to believe that I'm using money for good? How do I, get people to just believe in themselves now through story?
Well, I think that's the first part, is to get them to believe in themselves, because they can do for others what they haven't done for themselves. And it's the same for you. You can't do for others what you haven't done for yourself. So and that's why I'm so big on, it all starts with you.
I think I'm in a funny position at the moment because sleep is bi-directional, right? In the fact that if people don't sleep well, they're less likely to believe in themselves. If people sleep well, they can believe in themselves. But to get someone to sleep well, they have to believe that they can sleep well. So it's convincing someone who doesn't believe that there's a better life for themselves, for their brain, for their body, to do something that takes a little bit of mental capacity and commitment to achieve that better life that they don't believe is possible.
This is brilliant, man. This is what we call marketing, and I'm going to steal this from Seth Godin. Seth Godin, one of the best marketing practitioners the planet has ever seen. So my next question to you would be, so how do you go about trying to show someone else that it is possible?
Well, I think the show bit.
You embody a life that shows people what's possible, right? So, and that's why your story is so important.
Well, this is it.
And Seth Godin has a great line. He said, the best marketing in the world shows people, you want them to think, there's someone like me doing things like that.
Yeah.
that's why I was saying the mess is the message. The messy bit, the story that you told me the other day, is the message. That's the most important part.
Yeah.
Because then other people are going to go, holy crap.
Yeah.
There's Tommy. Yeah, I get it. I identify with him. He's a dude from the UK, blah, blah, whatever. And I struggle with that too, but he got over it. So he's a beacon, you know, he's a beacon that it is possible. And if we don't show people it's possible, they're never going to believe it is, because we're wired for negativity. So that's the essence of your marketing in this, is constantly showing up and showing people what's possible.
Yeah.
Through sleep.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to be able to tell people. Some people you are. Some people are
That's
naturally
what
wired.
fine is. Like, people don't like being told what to do. I don't like being told what to do. I'll come up with all of the reasons why I am doing what I'm doing and not whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
The thing is.
Yeah. Because a lot of people, you know, in the Western world right now, we're very heady, right? We've kind of blocked. There's a great line that I love to use, you know, that the distance between your heart and your head is only, the distance between your heart and your head is only 30 centimeters, but it's the longest journey you'll ever go on. 30 centimeter journey to get this and this to work together. It's impossible. Really hard, right? Not impossible, but really hard. Yeah. And what we've done in the Western world is we've blocked it somewhere. We've said they're separate. And you can even say the gut as well. We just think they're all separate. So people are very heady and they don't like being told what to do because they blocked the heart and the head. They just can't feel into anything anymore. Oh, don't fucking tell me what to do. I'll tell you exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's like, that's very heady. But if they really felt into what was going on, all right, so me going to bed at like 12:30 at night, how does that feel? Fuck, I wake up feeling like shit. And does that really fit? Is that really what I want? Not really. Is it working? It's not fucking working, is it? You know, if they really felt into it. But they'll be heady to tell you all the stories about why. Oh, well, the kid's this and I get home late and I have to do this, I have to do that. I have to do story. You know, but it takes radical responsibility to go, hang a second. But that's not working.
Yeah. And to make that switch, I think like that's where I'm trying to find a why. Like, obviously, my why is the sleep deprivation put me in hospital. All right, that's a pretty decent why and a pretty good reason for me to sort my shit out.
Cool.
But for everyone else, the likelihood of other people getting to that state anyway is minimal. Right, I'm not sure what the percentage chance of people ending up in hospital because of sleep deprivation is, but it's got to be pretty low. Maybe a fact that I need to figure out. So it's creating a why for people. And that I spoke to you before about Dream Week, that sort of challenge that I'm thinking of doing, where I give a list of instructions for people to follow for 1 week to experience what life looks like when they are not sleep deprived, when they are 100%, when they are fully charged. And once they experience that, they've got clear evidence. And they've got a clear why, because they don't want to go back to what they were before.
Brilliant. So good. All right. I like that. The why behind the no sleep equals hospital.
No sleep equals on you. So just do it. Like,
no sleep equals.
The sleep is out there saving lives every single day all across the world.
That's great. That's a great tagline.
Just came up with that. I was
going to grab another chew.
Sleep is...
sleep is saving lives.
Sleep is out there saving lives all over the world.
Every single day. All right, let's start with challenges right now. I guess I spell challenges. Yeah. Where are you at right now? What would be some top 3? What's the big bottlenecks right now for you?
Editing's taking me ages. So that's not leaving time for me to do the things that I'm skilled at. And taking away time that I did spend on working on the mission and the vision.
Yep.
Getting in front of the right people.
In terms of in real life or online?
Online and real life. I'm in Bali, so I can't go and do things. My target market is people in the UK. That's why I want to make the impact more passionately. But online, like Instagram, like not getting loads of views and not getting put in front of the UK that prominently. So yeah, engage, like time invested into content is not returning with sufficient engagement to
justify the investment. And other than that, cash. So like, I would love to be in a studio recording a YouTube video every day, but I can't afford that. Or I would like to be able to pay an editor to do the work, so that I have the time to work on the mission and to impact.
Cool. Top 3. All right. So that's where I was going to go first with editing. Do you have the resources to outsource? If that's a no, then we're back down to the cash thing, right? But let's talk about the positioning and the networking first, because that's going to make a difference on how much cash you can make, and the cash is going to make a difference on how much editing you can outsource, right? And how many studios you can book and the equipment you can buy and all the rest, right? So what's happening right now? So where we're at right now, if we're looking at the model here, positioning and networking, what does that do? Well, that attracts people into our world. That's what we're thinking about. So if anytime we're talking about positioning, we're talking about what content does, we're talking about the attract portion of this, which leads us to the money and freedom piece. So what do you find is happening right now? You're
Positioning.
Yeah, so what are you doing? So you'd say your content isn't working for you, is that what you're saying?
Well, it's just not getting very many views at the moment. And it's something they'll build over time, but the majority of my followers and the people who are interacting with it are people that I know.
So you'd like more views?
Yeah. Obviously, yeah.
What else would you like? More conversations off the back of it?
Yeah. To get in front of the right people, so people who are going to engage with it, like, comment, send me a message saying that they like what I'm doing.
Yep. Okay. And kind of like the acknowledgement that it's working.
Yeah. And something I'm going to try is just chucking a bit of money at, and in like 3 weeks' time, I'd have got out all of my, like, calling it my shop window. So all of the subtopics of sleep that I'm going to talk about. So whether it's jet lag, whether it's relationships, whether it's energy, all of these different things. And once I've got them out, I'm going to see which has been the most popular video, what that I'm most proud with, and what I think my audience will engage with the most, and just chuck £100 at an ad that's targeted to people in the UK who have certain interests, which will hopefully bring a bit more growth, which will turn organic in the future.
Cool. Okay. The first thing that comes to mind, this is a tactic about posting. It might be because you're here.
So I've just changed that this week. So my sister started posting on my behalf.
Great.
Which has worked really positively on TikTok. Right? I've gone from 100 views per video to 800 views, which is still nowhere near what I want to be achieving, but it's 8 times. And it's getting likes, and it's going in front of my target market. I was 91% Indonesian people, and now I'm 65% from the UK and the rest across Europe and America.
Yeah. What are you using right now? Are you using Instagram?
Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. YouTube's doing well. YouTube Shorts, like from day one, they've been getting over 1,000 views per video.
Great. Are you putting long form on YouTube?
So not yet. So that's going to be a hurdle.
Yeah. So I think something to get over that hurdle is to loosen the grip a little bit on it having to be in a studio.
Yeah.
You know, what are you recording on at the moment? Your phone?
Yeah.
Yeah. So cool. Just flip your phone to the side, put it on 4K, and then just, get the setting as nice as you can, and just bang out a long form.
Yeah.
Honestly, dude, I wouldn't let the perfectionism of it hold you back from spreading the message.
Cool.
It will get better over time.
Yeah.
It will.
To be fair, I think that's not the thing that's holding me back. It's a time thing, right?
Okay.
So I've set myself targets on the short form perspective. To get that short form stuff out as the first, the top of the funnel, really. People are engaged by the short forms to send them to the long form. I suppose I've not got the long form for them to be sent to yet, though.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going to the studio on Tuesday to get this thing filled.
Awesome. So the flywheel is a little bit incomplete right now. The ecosystem's a bit incomplete, but that's okay. One step at a time.
Filling it up. Yeah.
One step at a time. So, all right. So ideally, you want them to go from here to here.
Yeah.
And then where do you want them to go from here?
See, it's interesting because from a consumer perspective, that wasn't where I was initially going to be making any money. So that sort of thing is to just stay part of that ecosystem, bashing between Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, wherever else, and for some of them to. So from there, I've not thought that far ahead.
Yeah, so it's really good.
My personalized sleep Bible, which I'm pitching it, which will be launched later this year, right? Which is, I'm pitching it as a time-saving mechanism instead, and it's a time-saving mechanism and a cost-saving mechanism. Not even sure if it's a mechanism. Would it be a mechanism? It's something that'll save people time and it'll save people money, because what it will do is analyze what their sleeping habits are, what is positive and negative about them, and a little bit of an action plan for them to improve them over time, which is what 3-4 one-on-one coaching sessions would bring them.
Yep.
But in a form that doesn't take 4 hours of their time, and in a form that they can look back on in the future.
Yep.
And for a tenner.
Nice. So that's your lead magnet, right? So that sleep Bible's sick. All right, that's going to be a lead magnet. Okay. The big thing here is on all these platforms, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, short form, long form, they're rented audiences, right? Do you know the difference between rented and owned audience? Have you heard this analogy?
No, but
So it kind of is fairly self-explanatory. Rented audience means that these people own your audience. So anyone who watches your stuff on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube own those people. You don't. Because if Instagram shuts down tomorrow, where do all your followers go? Gone. Poof. See you later. Can't contact them. Got nothing, right? So this is an ecosystem here. This is what we call the content ecosystem, okay? So, and it's very simple. This is like the simplest version, and it works really well. You get these two bounce between each other. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, these all kind of bounce between each other. They can come in through IG and go to long form, or they can come in from long form and go to IG. Doesn't matter which way around. But the idea is not to keep them there. The idea is to own them off of the back of that. So how you own them is you get their data.
Yeah.
So it's an email address. So one of the big things that I would really recommend you do is you start a newsletter.
Okay.
And that only has to go out whenever their cadence is completely up to you. It could be weekly, it could be bi-weekly, it can be whatever. Okay. But here's a little sleep newsletter. You can call it whatever you want, whatever. But that's where you own your audience. So your efforts right now, even from day one, is to get them from here to here to here.
Okay.
And where your lead magnet sits, it's a reason for them to give you this.
So do I need to, I'm just thinking about time cost at the moment and brain capacity. I'd love to do a newsletter, and I'd love to get my thoughts on paper. At the moment, that's making me feel quite overwhelmed. Is there a negative between collecting their email address in the Sleek Bible, having them tick a box for the marketing if they'd like, and then not actually sending an email until 6 months' time?
No.
No. So that's fine. So I can actually get them on a mailing list without having to spend the time on the newsletter.
You don't have to do it right now. Yeah. No. The idea is to just collect data.
Yeah.
You want to be collecting data all the time, because this is a lead magnet for free, but it's not really for free. The only, nothing in life is for free. The thing that you want to get is their data. So the whole point of this is your ecosystem. So you've got short form, long form, and you've got a lead magnet. And the way that they get that lead magnet is by giving you some form of data. Okay. Or they could just give you the data outright. You could just be posting stuff on IG, and once a week in your stories, you'd be like, hey, I've been sharing about this fact this week. You can elaborate a bit more on one of the reels that you spoke about, just in a bit of text on a few stories. Say, I talk more in depth about this on my newsletter. If you want to join, click the link here, and it, take them straight to a landing page. Bang. or just get them to send you their email address. Because when the day comes when you want to start selling things and you want to do stage talks and you want to let your audience know where you are, what you're selling, what you're doing, that's where you're going to get them the best. Because there's a thing that, again, they speak about marketing, permission marketing. All right. Here, especially here, you don't have a lot of permission to sell to people. A lot of people don't like to be sold to on Instagram and TikTok. Okay. Because what do we know them to be? They're entertainment or education. That's it. Nowhere in there did it say, sell me something. Okay. People want to be entertained and they want to be educated on IG and TikTok. So our goal there is to entertain and educate them so much that sparks an interest to go to a long form. Then from a long form, they like, wow, I really like this person. They're in the Daniel Priestley model of key person of influence, know, like, and trust. Very hard for them to get to know, like, and trust you in short form.
Yeah, because you know, is it 7 hours or something?
It's 7 hours, and I think I worked out if the average reel is like 60 seconds, it's like 420 reels or something you've got to post before you even hit the 7 hour.
And for them to watch all of them.
And are they going to watch some more? Exactly, because the algorithm doesn't really work like that anymore, based on interest, right?
Yeah.
So here, say you're doing like anywhere between, 20 minutes to 1 hour.
Yeah.
I mean, you've cut down that how much you have to do drastically. If you've got 7 1 hour long forms, there's only 7 pieces of content you're going to make instead of 420.
Yeah.
So boom. And then that makes, then you can cut short pieces out of this and then put them up here. Saves you creating new stuff, saves you over editing stuff.
Yeah.
And this is what we call pillar content. So YouTube acts as a pillar. So let's just say I'm just going to draw it. So this is YT. That's long form, right? And then we drop down, and then that then turns into Instagram, like a reel, TikTok. You could have something on X. Then there could be a LinkedIn thing about that. It could be a sound bite, and it could be a quote.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just off of one.
Yeah.
That's just off of one reel. One reel can go. So that's one. Say that one's like 60 minutes. Just say.
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably find 20 pieces of short form. So you've gotten, that's times 20. And then that's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different places. 20 times 6. I mean, you just shitloads of distribution at a higher level. So, I mean, it's really cool. So you can make long form, you can do it the other way around. You can make short form. It's completely up to you. But this might speed up a bit of your editing process because you edit once and then just chop out a little bit.
Yeah. No, I completely back that. I'm excited to get around to that. It'll definitely be more of a strategy as soon as the shop window is full in the way it needs to be. So I think I've literally just got two more weeks. Not even. I just have 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
6 more 90-second videos.
Yeah.
And then that's me with that. And I can just focus on long form, which I can then make into short form. And super short form as well that I'll do on the side. Like, here's a 15-second me explaining one thing instead of explaining a whole topic. Yeah. And then workshops as well, man, which is where I can get more content from a short and a long form perspective.
Yep.
Filming that's credibility, but people seeing what I'm going to be selling in the future, which is me standing in front of people and telling them things.
Cool. Great. Which is the same thing as what you're doing here, just in a different format. Yeah. So long form and short form is still you standing in front of people, telling people things. It's just in a digital format. So that's how I see what happens here. So I think let's talk a little bit about like the numbers. So you understand that's the position in the networking. So let's come back to here. This will really help with the positioning because if we can make more cash, that'll take care of this. But where it's going to come from is this. And we need to get this. That's your ecosystem.
Yeah.
But it's this that's going to bring us cash, which is going to take care of that problem. That's our big bottleneck right now. We want more views, more conversions, more conversations, and a bit more acknowledgement for what's going on. So the first place here is like, okay, we've got the why. We're just going to work on the positioning a little bit here. What's the big like thesis of what you do? And, like what does your sleep thing do? And you've given me some really good like one-liners so far. Like what's something that sticks out to you?
I'd like to make a culture shift and teach people the importance of sleep and how to do it in a way that they understand and remember forever.
Cool. What's the big pain that you're solving there on the other side of that?
It's a potential thing, mate. So there's been a lot that we've spoken about today where I see that we've got very common interests when it comes to mission is just helping people understand what they are capable of with certain information inside their head and certain beliefs inside their head.
Yeah.
And I just think sleep is a gateway to a better life. And it's getting rid of people's objections as why they can't prioritize sleep and that they're not valid.
Yeah. Cool. So your big thesis is something came to my mind. It's like sleep your way to success. It's like in a way, right? Like in a way, what you want to teach people is like sleep to success, like sleep your way to success. And so that's the big thesis. Your big belief around what you do is if you get more sleep, you're going to be able to believe in yourself more. If you can believe in yourself more, there's a higher likelihood you're going to live a better life.
Yeah.
If you're living a better life, I put that in the green column, which we'll just call success, for lack of a better word, right? Awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And you can work on that. You can work on what that means to you. You got some really cool ideas there. And then we look at the components. So what are like the top 3 components that you help people with sleep? Or is there 3? Is there 5? Like what?
So the things that I just mentioned, so understanding how to sleep and understanding why it's important.
Okay.
No, there's how to sleep, why we sleep, and how we sleep. What would?
Yeah. So
How to sleep,
how
sleep, why we sleep. What is sleep? How we sleep, and why we sleep.
why, what is it? And so how we sleep, why we sleep, what is sleep?
Yeah.
And then you said another one, another component, which is belief. Like I think part of what you're going to do is work on people's beliefs about sleep, like why they can't, why they can, or whatever.
Yeah.
And anything else you can see in there? What any more components to like the arms of things that you're going to teach people about? Like kind of big categories of things?
What when we get into sleep itself?
Yeah. Like, are there any like big categories of things?
I think it's understanding how to make sleep a priority.
Nice.
So because it involves people completely changing their way of life, right? If they're in social groups that go out at 9 o'clock at night on a Saturday, and there's someone who wants to put sleep first and wants to live a life where sleep is the priority, then they're not going to be able to go to those things as frequently and go to those things and be the person that they used to be in those situations. So, or their partner maybe come back from work late and they have to have dark conversations about whether maybe they're going to sleep in separate rooms or have slightly different schedules and what that's going to look like. So it's understanding how to make sleep first in their life and making a change.
Brilliant. Okay, so what we've done is we've just put together your positioning piece. This is your kind of positioning statement, and everything runs back through this. So anytime here's all your content. So your whole thing is about sleeping your way to success or sleeping your way to a better life. Okay, and the big core components of that is like how we sleep, and that can break up into God knows how many.
Oh, yes, man. Limited. I find that quite overwhelming. I'm like, there's so much to speak about here.
Cool, but that also excites me because it shows that there is so much content in there which goes on forever. Right? Then we've got why we sleep. Okay.
Yeah.
Lots of content pieces in there. What even is it?
Yeah.
Cool. Lots in there. There's content around what you believe about sleep, why you can, blah, blah, blah. And then here's content around why your priorities will negatively or positively impact. That's the core components of everything that you speak about in here.
Yeah.
It's so cool. And then we look at what's the core mechanism. So your mechanism are these. This is your mechanism. Okay. You go from Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts into the longer piece. There's a lead magnet called the Sleep Bible. You can also give that away on Instagram as well. You could go straight from Instagram, get the email.
So I'm thinking of selling the Sleep Bible. So I'm seeing that as a revenue stream.
Okay.
Because to have a digital product, right?
This is great. Okay.
So that to be a digital product. And then I can give away free resources as well, which may be better if I put them behind some sort of email capture wall.
I think you should put everything behind an email capture.
Okay.
Purely because that's the trade-off is the data.
Yeah.
So something that we spoke about the other day was the scorecard marketing. I think that would be genius. Your free thing can just be like a questionnaire to bring people to the point of realization of like, oh, my sleep's screwed.
Yeah.
or something like that.
So do you reckon that, because the Sleep Bible thing sort of originated because of listening to Dan PC speak about scorecards.
Right.
So I was going to give it away for free, and I was like, this thing is so valuable. I was to put 100+ hours into creating the back end for it and all the writing. I was like, if I'm going to have a digital product, this is one of the most valuable things I could give. So to have that, but maybe having it at an initial stage where it's, do you actually need the Bible or not? So let's have the first quiz. This is your sleep score from my perception, from the perception of the Sleep Bible. Is it a necessary purchase or not? Yeah. Do you want to upgrade your sleep by X amount? You do it all right, so actually you might not need this knowledge. Yeah. You're not doing very good, so you could do it paying that table and getting their proper information about it.
Yeah. So, great. So that could be great. And it could be, you could have multiple free resources. Could be a questionnaire. It could be like just one thing about a small piece. Like it could be all sorts of those things in there. So that's cool. And lastly, let's talk a little bit about some of the numbers. Because there's a little piece in here that I was thinking about on the way here that could be useful for you to like bump some revenue early.
Yeah.
How much would you want to be making with your company, say monthly or annually?
Yeah, so it's interesting because I've thought more about myself and how much I'd like to make, but I haven't thought about the company and how much I would need to make my mission and vision a reality. So I've not done a lump crunching on that. Personally, I'm happy with like 30 grand a year. I can live off that, and that's all I would take from the business for my own purpose.
English, 30k English?
Yeah, 30k English. So that's for me. Impact-wise, the more money I have, the more free education I can give.
Yeah.
Which is the whole impact thing. I want to give free education to anyone who needs it via the content that I create.
Amazing. But more money, more impact, baby.
More money, more impact. It is a thing, and I hadn't realised that until speaking to you. Is that actually it's going to be a big bottleneck for me?
Yeah. Great. So have you ever thought about taking on just in an interim, like one-to-one sleep coaching clients?
I have thought about it.
Yeah.
I think I was opposed to begin with because I believe I can make more impact to the world by doing group talks.
Yep.
Because I'll speak to more people and encourage more people simultaneously with that hour of time instead of just a one-on-one. And I believe per hour, I can actually make more from doing public speaking versus one-on-one. You can charge 500 quid for an hour's workshop at a company, or just 500 quid at an event, post my own event, get 500 quid for an hour of a time, really, that's speaking, versus to charge 500 quid for an hour one-on-one. It's going to take a lot more credibility than I've already got, I believe.
Okay, cool. Yep. So something there, which I was going to say, don't shy away from, is the opportunity to do some one-on-ones in the early stages.
Yeah.
You'll find that you need a lot less credibility than you think. Because and something that I thought about this the other night when we had our conversation about the money thing. There are people out there who will pay good money to get sleep help.
Yeah.
And one of the perspectives I'd love you to think about going away from this as next steps is like, Are people, we were speaking about the price point, and you were talking about some sort of like membership thing or this small fee to get this program or app or something.
Yeah.
And we were saying, I think there was something you said about, the people that are usually struggling with sleep, like wouldn't want to pay for something like that.
I think about myself back in the day.
Yeah.
I never spent any money on anything because I didn't have the brain capacity to think there was a better feature for myself.
Cool. So are the people who struggle with sleep, let's talk about your TAM for a moment. So TAM is total addressable market. Okay. So the total addressable market for people that struggle with sleep, are they only people like you were?
No.
This is where my brain went. I was like, I bet you there's high flying people out there with loads of money who struggle with sleep.
Yeah.
I bet you. And they are the types of people that are willing to pay for your expertise, give you a lump sum and say, hey, the next 6 weeks, let's fucking nail this sleep thing. So they're out there as well. So this is one of my coaches taught me is like, don't price out of your own pocket. And what that means is don't price or believe out of how you are, because that's a cognitive bias, or who you are. It's a great place to start because you understand that person the most. But remember, in your total addressable market are the only people in the world that struggle with sleep people like the person you were 2 years ago.
No.
Which is it's just an interesting thought process, because I know for sure there's people here that are loaded who have shit sleep cycles, and they would pay you thousands to fix that.
My only worries are that it changes my mission a little bit.
Okay.
But to be less about the impact and to make it as much impact as possible to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
But it would enable me to do that through the funding that I get from it, right? So I'm not opposed to it from a mission perspective. It's thinking, how would I have to change my marketing approach to attract the people who would be happy spending a lot of money on my time from a one-on-one perspective?
I don't think you change it at all. You just keep speaking to this.
Okay.
And all of the tangible outcomes on the other side. You can do everything in the background. You can do one-to-one, you can do group, you can speak on stage, you can sell digital products, you can do everything. You just can't speak about everything. But what you can speak about is all of this stuff.
Okay.
So keep all of the positioning broad to your total addressable market. Because it's in what you're saying. If your statement is true, you want to be able to bring as much impact to as many people as possible. You need to address the total addressable market, not just people like you were 2 years ago.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so, and that's kind of cool.
So having something, and which is why I was going to have the sleep Bible free, but then I thought, right, let's charge people for it. Me back in the day, I wouldn't expect a tenner on anything, mate, especially not health and wellness related. I wouldn't believe in it. I couldn't be arsed. I didn't have the motivation. I didn't have the cash. I do believe that I could make that £10 back.
Yeah.
So just by making that a tenner, that's for a different target market. I wouldn't be opposed to doing the one-on-one stuff. So how do you reckon that I can make those sales to those people? I'm not they will reach out to me yet. Do I need to say that's some cold reach outs? Do I need to?
I wouldn't go cold for now. Something that I would do is what we were saying earlier, this networking. Try and get around more people here, because you might find someone here. And then just keep nailing the content around this stuff.
Yeah.
And eventually people will be like, yeah, I struggle with that too. Every new person, the only time you outreach cold is every time a new person follows. Every time a new person follows you, you have...
Okay, interesting. So for me to send them
you have range to reach them because they've interacted with you.
Yeah.
It's a small level of permission. So like I was speaking about before, in here, you have very little permission, cold, to sell anything to anyone. You have a little bit of permission here because people know, like, and trust you.
Yeah.
But in the email, loads of permission. Why? Because they've said, yeah, take my email.
Yeah.
It's fine. Just send me what you need to send me.
Permission, right? Yeah.
But if they've interacted with you and they've followed you, it's a smallest bit of permission.
Yeah.
What's the permission? To have a conversation.
Okay.
Be like, hey, so thanks for following. Saw you like the content. Like, what was your favorite thing about that piece of content? Be like, oh, the thing you said about drifting off the state. Say, yeah, that comes up. That I struggle with that. You'd be like, oh, well, how's that coming up in your life? Like, how's that affecting you right now? Oh, I'm great at work. Like, it's like, is that something you're looking at working on? Yeah, I've thought about it for a long time. Oh, cool. Well, I do have something that is can help that.
Yeah.
Is this something you'd be interested in? Would you like to hear more about it? Yeah. Okay, let's arrange a Zoom call like tomorrow.
Yeah.
About 30 minutes. Discovery call, and then they're like, yep, you're the person. Sold.
Brilliant. Okay. Okay.
There's a process we can go deeper on.
So yeah, so I don't need to shout about the one-on-one stuff. It's an option that I can give to people through conversations. I don't need to they've given me permission, right?
This is what you shout about.
Cool. Yeah.
You're always speaking to how we sleep, why we sleep, what is sleep, your beliefs around sleep, your priorities of sleep, and then you're just tying it to the pain of it. It's like, well, what happens when you don't sleep?
Yeah.
What happens is
Yeah.
And who are you now when you do sleep?
Yeah.
Oh, you used to be this person. You are this person. I used to be this. Now I'm this. Yeah.
Brilliant, man. Thank you so much. That makes.
Well, that was just like a small.
No,
we touched the surface.